Stop Tootsie. And I'll just be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
Sure, no worries.
Okay. Probably not going to be doing too much from that angle that we're at here, so we probably want to be trying to push, maybe run up the stairs on them. Okay.
Oh.
So, little late on the push. Probably could have been done a little bit faster because they just have that high ground positioning, which means that you're probably not gonna be able to kill anything from down where you're at. So pushing sooner and then just watching to make sure you're not like pushing when you're low. Okay. Make sure you're watching kill feed and where your team's at, right? Because we're still engaging and pushing when it's a 1v3, right? Which is going to be really dangerous and can get you killed. So make sure you're watching where your team's at and backing if you don't have them with you. Okay. So far you're doing pretty good with your Nemesis form. Okay, nice fight. Watch holding down your primary fire if there's nothing like actually in sight because sorry, I wasn't holding down my push talk. Whoopsie. Watch using your primary fire if there's nothing to shoot at, because then we just end up like wasting through all of it, and then you will see something and you won't have any ammo, and it'll make you reload more often. So use it when there's stuff to shoot at. Besides that, nice fight. So the problem there when we ulted was that like there just weren't enough people around you, so you gotta watch where people are.
Actually, as soon as I ulted I just realized that they started backing up.
Mm-hmm. Good job blocking out. A little far forwards though to start. Okay, so we'll talk about a bit of aggression after we're done.
No, it was like my misjudgment. I thought that it is like last few inches and no one's looking at the cart. Let me just
Yo,
push it
yeah,
through.
no, for sure, for sure. I'm talking about some other scenarios. Nice. Watch charging up his punch. That's just gonna give him value.
Okay, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, good
Bye.
kills.
Oh my god. Huh?
Right, so pushing a little far. You can see there when you looked back that your teammates were a lot further back than we were, which just is gonna mean you don't get team support.
Clever tactics. Finally.
Nice. 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 Little early for shield usage. Maybe talk a bit about that too.
Sure.
Very nice. Okay, very nice. Cool. Good game. I'm gonna stream and we can take a look at some stuff here. If
Yeah,
you'd
why
like
not?
to take a look. Alright. Alright. So let's take a look. So like I just said there at the end, let's talk really briefly about shield usage. I think shield usage was decent. Let's just go a little bit more in depth on some of it. And a lot of these concepts are going to play in Sigma as well when you're trying to use shield. But like what the different reasons why someone would want to use shield as a tank. Very big obvious thing on Ramattra is that it's such a long cooldown, right? When you pull it up, it's a 13-second cooldown. So because it's such a long cooldown, you're only getting like maybe 2 of these a fight, right? Which just makes it very valuable, and it's important to time it right, because if it's mistimed or misplaced, then it'll not really do too much, and then you won't have the protection you might need. So times where you do want to use shield, the big major thing with shield usage is you're looking for high value blocks, and you're blocking from danger. right? Danger comes in a lot of different fashions. You could be blocking, for example, an ability or ultimate. Those are usually very high value. So if you're blocking like a, Soldier Visor, McCree High Noon, you're trying to block. I don't know what are other ones here that we could be blocking. We're trying to maybe block like a Bob or a Death Blossom, or a Roadhog ult or something, right? So blocking ultimates, also blocking abilities. So if you used it to block a hook, or if you use it to maybe you block like an Ash Dynamite, or you use it to block what other like a Sigma rock, things like that, right? We can use it to block ultimates and abilities, and a lot of times ultimates and abilities are pretty dangerous, so we get high impact value from blocking those things. So those are really good to intentionally look for and block. Other things are going to be like high amounts of burst damage. So if you have like 5 people like shooting all at you at the same time, right? That's going to be pretty dangerous. And you might want to shield for high amounts of damage, or you might want to shield if you're pushing and taking space, right? So if we're trying to like go and approach on them there, we can push while we're place it while we're pushing so that we cannot take damage. You can place it while you're backing up and disengaging, so you can disengage. Yeah, lots of different ways that we can be using it. And then you can use it when you or your teammates are like low or in danger, right? They're not always the same thing. I can be low HP and around the corner and perfectly safe, or I can be full HP next to a diva bomb, right? And that's very much in danger. So, generally speaking, you want to use it for all these different situations, but when you don't use it, is for just like everyday random spam, right? You don't want to necessarily use it just if there's like one single person shooting at you from a mile away, because then it just might end up getting wasted, right? If we're like coming into the fight and we're just using it on like the one soldier on high grounds, right? Might not do a ton when you might need it soon in the fight to block a lot more damage. That makes sense for a pretty brief synopsis on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yep. Let's talk a bit about aggression. Because there are some times where I'd say the big thing is that we would have times where we're pushing in too far when we shouldn't have been pushing too far, or we are ulting in situations where we had already won the fight, or that, yeah, I guess those are some of the main ones. I don't think there were many situations where you were playing too passive. I think some the main ones that we'd get like over aggressive sometimes. But besides that, I think you did a good job of having aggression. It's just we want to be able to manage it. Do you remember in other previous sessions have we talked about watching kill feed and how to tell whether or not you've won or lost a fight?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, baby. So, recalling back to that, because we're about to use this in a second here, because we're going to go much more advanced, in depth on this. But 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight, in which case you get more aggressive or more passive. If you've won the fight, you don't want to use ultimates. If you've lost the fight, you also don't want to use ultimates, right? Because then it's just, either way, you're wasting it. And then if you've lost, you get out if you can. If you can't, you let them kill you. All right, so there's an example for like when you capped second point where we ulted when it was a 5v3, and you guys kind of had the advantage on cart, more ults, better positioning. They had to kind of come to you, and they just weren't in a good position for it, and we ended up ulting. Situations like that, where maybe it can be saved. We can talk about really quickly. Have we gone in depth on that before and talked about the other advantages and disadvantages within it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because in my DPS games also you saw me maturely ulting 2 3 times
Yeah,
when I shouldn't have, and
sure.
you told me about it.
Sure. So, then you already know all those other things, right? They go into it. So let's implement that into this concept we call aggression scaling, right? I haven't talked to you about aggression scaling, right? I usually do that with just tanks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We haven't talked about that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Aggression scaling is a concept where basically it's a tool that you can use to help manage your aggression. It's basically how to gauge and evaluate where you're at with your aggression and where you should be with your aggression. So you want to picture this, and actually, I forgot I made a little thing for this. So let me pull it up here. I'm going to send you an image over on Discord.
No,
Cool, cool. I made a little diagram from the last person I had.
no worries.
All right. So, if you look at this, you're thinking of aggression scaling as if your aggression were on a scale. At 0% is your super passive, your neutral is 50%, and your super aggressive is 100%, right? You're going to go, and neutral is kind of where you start every fight, right? Because nothing has happened yet. So nothing, your aggression is just going to be at 50. That doesn't mean that you're doing nothing. You're not at 0, so you're not just going to be sitting there doing nothing, but you're also not going to be at 100%. So you're not like sprinting into their team. You're not like just going in, going, but maybe you're still doing, maybe you're using Nemesis and you're punching, but you're going in, pulling back, going in, pulling back. You're just waiting for something to happen, right? And then you're
Mm-hmm.
going to go up this scale with advantages and with opportunities. You're going to go down the scale with disadvantages, a lack of resources, and danger. Right. So let's define a couple of those. Advantages are going to be things. I mean, we've already talked about advantages and disadvantages. Big ones are going to be like being up or down players, right? So if you're up a person, we go from 50 to 60. We're up 2, we go to 70. 3, we go to 80. 4, we go to 90. Right? We just go up the scale with each kill we get. We're down people. Oh, we're gonna drop from 50 to 40. We're gonna play more passive. Where we drop to 30 because we're down 2, and so forth. Right? And then all the other advantages and disadvantages. Right? We're low health. Which team has better positioning, more ultimates, more abilities, closer spawns, things like that, right? Those are going to be other advantages and disadvantages. Opportunities are going to be things like, oh, I see someone who's 1 HP and I can run in and kill them real quick and capitalize on the opportunity. Or they're out of position. Or maybe you have your ultimate and you can run in with your ults. Right? Those are opportunities that you can play more aggressive with. Um, Other things going down the scale are going to be a lack of resources, right? So resources are going to be things like your shield, your health, and then even on character like Ramattra, I'd say like your Nemesis form because that provides you with extra tanking and survivability. So if you're down your Nemesis form, you're probably playing a little bit more passive, right? Because you can't like sprint in and get on top of things as easily. Um,
Yeah.
these aren't things like if you have them, they're not sending you up to 100, right? You can't go to 100 just because you have a shield available, but they certainly do send you down the scale if you don't have them available.
Mm-hmm.
Danger, that's going to be things like if you're obviously in danger of dying, you can't be pushing forwards. If there's a diva bomb right next to you, you can't be going out 100% and like sprinting into their team. You might end up dying. Um, then, so that's aggression scaling. Now let's think of a scenario. Aggression scaling sometimes could be pretty stagnant. So let's say you're like just staggering the enemy team, so they're just dying over and over again, and you're just at a constant 100, right? Maybe it'll be that like that for 15 seconds, but then let's say a new fight starts and you're at 50%, you're neutral, and you see, oh, somebody's 1 HP, let me run in and kill them. And then you run in to try to kill them, and then you get shot in the head, and now you're 1 HP. So now you've just went from 50 to 100 to 0 all within the course of a second, and that's how quickly it can fluctuate. This is going to be it seems like a decent bit, but once you get good at it, it'll come a lot more naturally, where you'll just be able to think about it, right? Me with 5,000 hours of playing, like I don't need to think about aggression scaling because I can just do it in my head. I'm like, oh, okay, I should be pushing right now. I should be backing right now, right? and that's how it'll work as you work on it, make it into a habit. But this is to begin. This is a handy tool to be able to kind of visualize it, aggression, and put it into action. Does that all that make sense? Any questions on it?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfectly makes sense.
Cool, cool. And I can certainly, as we go in the session, I can maybe show you an example or two of what that might look like as you're playing, but that should hopefully help you. Another thing that kind of goes in with that, this would be like, it's hard. I don't know where I'd put it. I'd say it's maybe like it'd be a mix between disadvantages and lack of resources is not having your teammates with you. So if you are trying to push and you don't have teammates with you, well, you just can't do that, right? Because if you don't have teammates with you, then you're going to just end up dying, and because you have a lack of teammate resources, or you're at a disadvantage because you're down your teammates. It's a 1v5. So it's kind of a mix between those two. But if you have 5 teammates, that doesn't automatically mean you go up to 100% aggression. So it's not pulling you up the scale, it's just something that pulls you down the scale. So you want to make sure that before you're pushing, you have teammates. There was a bunch of times where like we would be like all the way up here, pow, pow, punch, 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 and then we're dead, or we're like running away and we go, oh wait a second, my teammates were like all the way back there, right? And then you just a problem. So before you push, do a quick scan. Where's my team at? I got them. Okay, let's go. Oh, there's still a couple seconds back. Let me wait like another second here before I push. Right? That makes sense to him.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Um, really quick with your vortex. Sometimes we're like missing it because we're trying to like chuck it up on the high ground. I'd be careful trying to chuck it up to high ground just because that can be hard. If you are, you don't try to hit people with the vortex, right? Because if you try to hit someone directly, it just kind of misses and sails off into oblivion. You instead want to aim at the floor, right? Because then you have this giant radius that it activates, and you can't really miss it too
Yeah,
easily.
I was just trying. I was just using it to deny area.
hmm But the problem is that a lot of the times we're missing it and just chucking it past them, is what I'm
Yeah.
noticing. So if people are on a high ground, I try to hit a ceiling or a wall. Because if we are just trying to chuck it at them, we just like miss and throw it past the high ground, which is what we did probably like 3 or 4 times. Um,
Mhm.
but if you hit the ceiling, you'll notice how it drops back down onto the high ground. Or if you hit the wall, it'll bounce back onto the high ground. And then when you're on the low ground, just make sure you're throwing it at the floor, because even on the low ground sometimes we're doing it. So we can just toss it down real quick as we're throwing it, as we're hitting them. Even when we're on the low ground, sometimes we're chucking it at people, and it's just going
Mhm.
too far past or something like that. I think you had a pretty good grasp on how to use your Nemesis form. This was good. Just note that your range is exactly 10 meters, so it's just good to know the number. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
um, You also had a good grip on your primary fire weapon. I don't know if that's a name. What's the name of this? Void Accelerator. You had a good grasp on this. Um, Positioning. Just remember to maintain cover usage. I'm sure we've talked about that. Taking
Yeah,
high
yeah.
grounds to try to push them off high grounds. Staying not pushing too far past your team. I think that's all for the current moment. Would you like to play another live game? Did you want to get Sigma time in?
Yeah, yeah. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Take everything from them.
hmm Who do you generally prefer between Sigma and Ramattra?
I play I play up on depending on how the enemy team is playing and
hmm
what kind of op they are running.
hmm Gotcha. What situations do you typically pick each of them?
Look, if enemies are having a lot of squishes and their tank is mainly a dive character, I usually play Ramattra. But if not, then I prefer Sigma. Like last game,
Mm-hmm.
like when they had Doomfist, and because if Doomfist comes and dives into my backline, then and I am close to their backline,
Mm-hmm.
I have their squishes. I can trade their squishes for free.
Mm-hmm.
And like for Sigma, I think so. He's pretty tanky. If I'm playing Sigma, I don't think so. I need to play a lot of cover. So that makes
Mm-hmm.
things easier.
Yep.
Because Sigma shield Sigma, I mean, if you keep on cycling through your abilities and you have a pretty good healer, I don't think so. You need to play cover at all. You can just uh
Well, in general, you still would want to play cover because especially like as you go up the ranks, people like you can't indefinitely cycle your abilities because they just have such a long like cooldown that you will have downtime on your abilities on Sigma. And then the other thing is that especially the higher up you go, people will get around your abilities. And so what if your shield? What if they start ulting and your shield breaks? Right? Well, and you used up your grass. Well, now you and your entire team because you're in front of your team and you're baiting them to stand behind you. Well, now you and your whole team are out in the open, right? Whereas when you stand on corners and cover and use cover, then you end up pushing you and your whole team towards cover and giving them shields. So you're certainly right. What you're describing is that it acts as a band-aid, right? Where it makes it seem like you don't need cover, but then you'll find that a band-aid doesn't cover gaping wounds if you have enemies that can Yep. Yeah, it won't basically won't do anything for you if the enemies are good enough to work around it. Oh, that stinks. Probably could be rocking a bit faster. That's an easy way to just stun him out of his block.
oh, I did not know that I could stun him out of
Yep.
his block.
Yep. With Rocky can.
I'll make sure to do that.
Yep. And then that's a really he's standing still for you at that point.
Actuating the barrier. Meteor strike.
All right. That stinks.
I think so. I should be better off on Ram over here. Not gonna lie.
Mhm.
My strength returns. Over here.
Yeah, maybe a tad bit early. Nice. Use your vortex a bit more. I don't know if you've used it at all this game. Nice. Yep. Oh, that's the other thing I was gonna remind you of. Just remember not to hold it down when there's nobody to shoot, because sometimes we'll be holding it down and then we actually see them and we don't have any ammo left. Okay, nice, good fight.
Take everything from them. Meteor strike. Devour them.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Very good ult, nice. Alright, good first round.
I will give
Yep,
you
I agree. Ramattra was probably the more solid pick there. Yeah. Though in both cases, just be a little bit careful not to over focus on the Doomfist, right? Because then if he's getting supported well enough, then we might end up just getting too distracted on him.
can opener in there.
But when he is isolated from his team, then those are good times to focus him.
Of course not. It'll be wholly unlike Lindholm to give you something useful.
I think so. The reason RAM also works here well is because these two maps are a bit brawly, and the third map is a bit more spammy.
That last map that you were just on is a spam map. The on
Yeah,
Sanctum.
yeah.
This one's brawly though. Yeah. But you're definitely right. This one and the next one are definitely brawly maps. I'd only shoot at his block if you think you can get a kill out of him. Same thing as Bubbles.
No Suzu, no Suzu.
Vortex. Yeah, there you go. Very nice. Cool, cool. Try to utilize your piercing with your punches, where you can hit multiple people. Sometimes you have the Zen and the Kiriko in front of you, and you only aim for one of them.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Meteor strike.
Just gotta be careful of. So in that situation, why do you think you died?
Because I was fighting five of them, and my team was back, and I did not use cover wisely.
Yep. So out in the open, maybe a little far forwards. Yep.
Take everything from them.
Very nice. Good timing for waiting for the trance. That was very good.
Your efforts will be rewarded.
I'd recommend in between these fights to take the high ground, because especially higher up ranks, a lot of higher ranked players will will come out on the high ground, and from the low ground you can't defend the high ground. But if you start off on the high ground, you can drop and defend both. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh no, he's going to wait the entire thing out. Oh my god. He got such a high value out of that thing.
So I'd like recommend in between these is that you'd rotate high. But once they're pushing through, then you can take point. Like now they're on point. The main thing is you're just stopping them in the case that they did go high grounds. Alright. Good game. Alright. Lot better than last round.
Why is this guy so angry in a quick play match?
Alright. Sounds good. Well, we got like 10 more minutes or so. Why don't we, unless you'd prefer just to do another match, we could look at your first one and show some examples of how
Uh,
aggression could be used.
Actually, I would prefer to do one more match.
Sure.
Not gonna lie.
Go ahead.
It's sometimes I feel so good after playing tank because it's so good to bully squishies.
Uh-huh.
Just throw them around wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that thing with, I think so. Winston is also very good at bullying squishes because you can
Mm-hmm.
just dive into them and then like shoot them for a while, then bubble and wait
Mm-hmm.
for your dive to dive out.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So do you see yourself are you liking now that you've been playing it, are you liking tank more than DPS, or are you think they're kind of the same, or do you think it's just a phase, something more long term?
No, not really. For me, like playing tank right now is just kind of having fun. I
Mhm.
like playing tank. Not gonna lie. See,
Mhm.
look, playing tank is way more fun than playing support. I don't like staring my teammates' ass or shooting at them. Okay. I'll be very honest with you. I really like playing DPS because DPS gives you the high adrenaline rush. Like if
Mhm.
you position yourself correctly, if you play well, you can just get 4 or 5 kills instantly. Like boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Yep.
So I like DPS for that. I really like tank. In the form that you still get to kill people, but a lot of times especially
Yep.
during the MOGA meta, it was just tanks shooting at each other and not getting a significant advantage. Half of the fights were like that. And then
Mm.
like if you get an off chance at shooting at their like support or killing their support, you try to do that. But
Mhm.
mostly it was tanks shooting at each other. I don't like doing that. That is the reason. I like to play for trades, or I like to
Yeah.
play for intelligent trades.
Mhm. Yep, for sure. Man, such a long queue.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I went into queue twice because once the game glitched out and it just threw me out of the queue.
Oh, stink. Okay, there we go.
I think so. This map is better for spam than brawl because
Yeah, definitely. Mhm.
it has pretty long hallways.
Yep, exactly.
I think so.
And some long open high grounds too.
I think so. All like robot maps are spam oriented.
Yeah. Mhm. Um yeah, I'd say so. The push ones. Um yeah, let me think. The definitely Coliseo is also spam oriented.
Toronto
Um
is spam oriented.
yeah, Toronto spam oriented. Yep. Um yeah, I think you're on track there. Mhm. A lot of control maps are usually like a bit more brawly. Um
I wouldn't
Hybrid can
say.
kind of be all over the place. Good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like if you look at Seoul or like Korea map, then it's like it's more divey compared to Brawly because it has a lot of high ground, hybrid
Mhm.
high ground. Yes. Yeah, shoot at me.
Nice. Watch holding your shield up if it's not doing anything, right? You want to get that recharged for the next fight, so just anytime it's not being used. And then usually it's a good idea to grasp like early-ish in the fight because then you get more rotations in and you can start off the fight with more health when you get those overshields. Make sure you're watching where your team's at.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yep. All right. What is your range on Sigma? Like, what range do you prefer to stand at?
Medium range, like not too
Mm.
far. I would say 15 meters.
Yeah, like probably like 15 to 20. 20 is where his cap is, right? He can't hit things direct shots past 20, but he likes to play towards the edge of it because that's his medium range that he gets to play at. There we're just very close and personal the whole time, and that also helps Maga too in their Junkrat. So I just play a bit further than you are. Because we kind of close up in that room, and which just helped their team comp.
Yep. What I saw is like Morga was really low, right? If it doesn't get heals,
Hmm.
then like my team can easily kill him. So what I did was I just placed my barrier behind Morga, so like they cannot heal him.
Hmm. Try to keep your ears open, your eyes open. Maga on point the whole time there. someone they also stole card as well, right? So keeping eyes and ears open so we can see it.
Over here.
It's the hard. Okay, Rico. We certainly don't want to see 9. Like we killed their tank and we killed their one support and one DPS, and then we just lost the robot over there.
Yep, which is why it's important just to keep eyes open and watch for it.
Let us push.
Oh, nom 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 nom.
If you're trying to push shield in front of you, you don't have to shoot it into the ground. You can just click it and let go right away, and it will just stop right in front of you.
Oh, okay. No, no, I was trying to put it behind Sigma. Behind this guy again.
When you were, I'm talking about like when you're in cage, you're like putting
Oh,
it
okay.
face down, where like it's so then they can kind of just shoot over top of it. So if you're trying to put it on top of yourself, you can just like click and let go.
The barrier appears.
Basically like that, but you can even do it. You can do it closer to him. Okay, eyes and ears open, so because there's a Hanzo right to your right. I mean, your soldier just killed him.
Oh no, oh no.
Yeah, this seems to have been a couple times this game where there's like some people to our right or left or behind us that like are kind of dancing around for a while, doing stuff, shooting at your team, and we don't seem to notice it. Which just
Yeah, yeah.
comes at a bit of awareness.
That is my problem actually. I am able to do that on RAM, but like whenever I am playing Sigma, I just feel like I'm, laser focused on what's happening in front of me. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I need to fight Moga. I need to fight Moga.
Hello there.
Where does the Junkrat go?
Watch your shield. So that's just gonna be a little bit of a habit thing as well.
Actually, the thing is, I 90% play RAM and 10% Sigma. That's the thing.
Yep, exactly.
Barrier initialized.
Oh no.
Yep. Once again, drop shield when you're not using it, right? Because we need to be able to recall it. Okay, kind of got bailed out there, but we were really kind of pushed forwards and engaged.
Nom 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 nom.
Nice. You're doing pretty good at mechanically landing shots. That's good.
I am waiting for result anytime now.
Exert Exerting force on the barricade. Barrier is nearly spent. My barrier is gone.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The guy just bailed me out again.
Mm-hmm. Dropping shield, right? It's not doing anything. Because if we're just holding it up, not only is it just going to get destroyed, we're also not going to be able to replace it.
Tactical visor activated. Let us push. Try to remain aware of your surroundings.
Bro,
Oh, you got off of it! Oh no!
wait, wait, how did Moga run through it?
I think you used it and then he ran through it afterwards. I think what's funny is he would have had that if you didn't get off if you didn't get off point. So it was a really good play. It was a really good idea, but you got off point, which is unfortunate.
Already done.
Actuating the barrier.
All right. So let's do a really quick wrap up. I wanted to let you finish out your game instead of just interrupting halfway through. But I think main points are like a little bit clear. Abilities are a medium priority. Ults are like a low to medium priority. Your mechanics are a low to medium, right? Maybe a little bit of target priority in there. Then next is your dare I say positioning. Positioning is going to be at a medium priority, and then the medium high priority. So the biggest, most important thing for you to work on is going to be your awareness slash aggression, just making sure we're paying attention. What's happening? Where's my teammates? Where's the enemies? What's happening in kill feed? You know, how should I be playing accordingly? That sort of thing. Not letting them run off with point, right? That sort of thing. So I'd probably say number one goes to that. Number two, probably abilities, just working some of the kinks out with those, and then positioning after that. Any final questions?
No,
No?
I
Cool.
think so. I had pretty fun these sessions. But actually, the reason I was doing tank is now I feel a bit burnt out from the game, so I
Mm.
might take a day's breather or two, and then I'll be back.
All right.
Uh,
Cool. Works with me.